Hey all, Sir Penguin here, and we are looking at a replay review. Aman in the blue, playing as the French, has asked me to cast this game and record it for your viewing pleasure and to learn some things, because we are looking at a game that he said he's kind of struggling with the matchup. So, of course he is. Let me just start with that. This is not an easy matchup for France. Historically, Ottomans have been a very good matchup for the French. So across from Aman in the red, playing as the Ottomans, is Emre44. Emre, if you watch this or if you're watching these games, I'm excited to see your game, and I, don't take anything hard that I say. This is all about learning, and it's just like people say to review your own games. We all do our darndest. So, if I could block people's names in these replay reviews, I think I would, just for everybody's sort of privacy. But for now, we're gonna cast this game and take a look at it. We've got a long one ahead of us, so sit tight, get comfy, and we are going to analyze the hell out of this game. Aman was just saying the other day, one thing he likes about the way I play this game is I use my knowledge before anything else. And it hurts me because my mechanics are bad, but one thing I feel like I can do well is see other folks' games and give my honest opinion of them. We're going to be as hard on Aman as we can because he wants to learn. It kind of reminds me of Hearthstone's Is It Imba or Do I Suck series for you StarCraft fans out there. So we're going to take a look. How is France going to fight up against the Ottomans? And what can Aman do better in this matchup? Already the first thing I'm going to say here for Ottomans is this is not an ideal, like forts is not an ideal way to set up your base because you're not going to be able to get like the full blacksmith coverage of a bunch of buildings. You're going to have to build outward. So if you can punish the outward buildings, maybe that's my immediate thought process. If you have a blacksmith pop up out here with the buildings, I know they can wall this off and protect it, but maybe you can put some pressure on here. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what Aman does here so we can talk more about it. Ottoman's going to open with a nice standard build. Only one on wood here. Is this for they already have the gold mine up, so this is just to get a military building. Oh, maybe to get the blacksmith out. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the single villager on wood, but I also don't play Ottomans. So that being said, I am a fan. I'm a fan in the sense that I want to play Ottomans so I stop losing games. Ottomans are very good. I think they're a very good faction. Anyway, here's France. We've got Aman building up the School of Cavalry, and our splits are going to be, let's make sure we mark our splits, 4-2-4. Make sure you have enough gold and food when you get up to get that first knight. Mill coming up as well, probably for that early wheelbarrow we'll see out of France. You do want to gather up a lot of gold for that. Because the wheelbarrow is going to help France a lot because you want to come out onto hunts. You want to get survival techniques, wheelbarrow, and get as many hunts as you can. I mean, this is a great map for hunts if you can secure the map, right? Because you need to move out of your fort. So I like France for this play because France feels like a faction that can spread out easier. And I think Ottomans have a harder time spreading out on the map because they want to take advantage of those blacksmith upgrades and things like that. Their army can secure the map, but they're going to have a tighter base. So I think Aman's first advantage here as France against Ottomans, if you can consider France having an advantage against Ottomans, is mobility and the ability to take the map. So we'll see what happens here. Not too bad on any of this idle time. Aman is actually, when I watch his macro, his idle time is pretty intense. I think I would have dropped off that food first, even if it was just a little bit. Just not, it wastes what, a split second to drop off your food before switching resources. I think I've gotten into the habit of that because of certain builds I play. Or maybe build the woodcutter's camp immediately instead of, I don't know, because then you can drop off food at the woodcutter's camp. Anyway, First night is out. We got an idle on the second night because we don't have enough food. Perhaps too many on wood this early. But knowing A-Man, we're probably going to see an archery range follow-up right now. Okay, no, first things first, lumber camp. Sitting at 149 wood, just short of an additional military building. So is this actually going to be... It's not going to be a second TC yet, so it's going to be a few more nights, some tech. Here's that second night. We had a little bit of idle time, like I said, on the School of Cavalry, but that's not make or break. I wouldn't say at this level of play, but to get better and to continue, we do need to see more of it. I will say, for those of you watching, I did not mention this earlier, this is a platinum game. A-Man has reached Diamond this season as Jushi before the nerfs, but has decided to return to France, who he played last season, because we're sort of speculating that TCs are going to come a little bit more back into the meta with the new changes to Rams and stuff like that. Anyways, looking up over here, he's going to try to put some pressure on with his knights. Let's take a look at his macro. He's still gathering probably more wood. I don't know. Do you want knights here? He has gotten wheelbarrow. He's getting double broadaxe now. So he's getting his eco upgrades. And now we're going to look at the aggression here. A nice little tight build with the buildings. Going to try to optimize that blacksmith. And that's a nice play. A-Man taking a look. How much stone has his opponent grabbed? Not a lot. Just enough for the military schools and things like that. You know you're coming up against France, so you're going to build a barracks. And we see this Platt Ottoman player building walls on all the corners of forts. I've done this myself, but it feels like too much wood this early in the game. Like, just get a couple spears and you can probably hold back this knight. And I think this is where A-Man needs to take advantage of this match. Avoid this little group of Dark Age spearmen who don't have their upgrades yet, as you can see. Just don't, yeah. He keep an eye on this. We don't have idle time. He's already ahead in villagers because of the France bonus. So he doesn't even need to get stone here because he has scouted that his opponent is on a single TC. Alright, coming in, returning 7 sheep. Don't let the knight get picked off. Nice. Just keeping an eye on his knights. Keeping these spears is, I mean, this is why Ottomans is good against France. You don't have to train spears immediately. He is now, and he's got the veteran upgrade, or the hard end upgrades rather. So now the spears are coming out in order to deal with his French, but you don't need to train a ton. In fact, you can overcommit here. And I think A-Man should, yeah, he's already dropped his archery range. So archers, but we don't have any queued. There's a lot on wood for this. And it looks like he might be transitioning. No. Oh, okay, going out onto the food. He's gonna lose this food for this walk time, but the reward for the sheep will be, or for the deer will be good. Here comes those spears. This is gonna be really hard for A-Man to put any damage on because the walls are up now. And so I guess I like the walls here now because they've come up. And I guess it's pretty easy to get them up. A-Man gonna start burning away at this. Looks like a gate has been sort of queued up for this. Here's the archers, though. This is going to make a difference. I think we only have double broadaxe for Ottomans. I think you need to get arrow damage on these archers. You need to get your blacksmith up. Yeah, okay. And I was just looking at how much damage they were doing to the spears, and it's not enough. You need arrow damage on these archers. You have melee damage on the knights for killing villagers and things like that, but look how many spears there are here. And you only have 2 archers. They're just gonna poke. And you can't do enough damage just yet. And make sure not to attack that scout chat. Like, it's so easy to just attack click with your archers, but if you only have 2 to 9 archers, you're only gonna one-shot spearmen. You can't kill other stuff really with that. So go ahead and make sure to target fire your archers at this stage in the game. A lot of that comes down to control groups and things like that. Villager coming out to rebuild these walls that the knights have burned down. And what do we got on the backside? A lot of wood still coming in. I think with this approach, I would probably stick at 15 wood and then start queuing to gold again. I mean, because then you can get a faster age up and your archer mass, because you don't have enough food and you need to make archers and knights. So balance this out, I think, a little bit. This is a lot of wood, and you're not building a TC. Out of all the things to have extra of, obviously, I think most of us can say wood is a nice thing to have extra. But I don't think it's helping here. It's just floating. You're just floating the wood. Survival techniques is in. I just wanted to double check that since he's hunting the deer. So, hey man, trying to put some pressure on, but again, I think there's better places these resources could have been allocated, because then you could have more archers for fighting this spear mass. Your opponent is only making spears and a few Sipahi. You don't even really need to worry about this Sipahi count yet. Because, oh no, and loses a knight for free on the front. That's unfortunate. This is also an English impulse. I don't think this tower is necessary as France. What is the goal of this tower? Are you trying to stop relics? Because it's not in range of anything else. So, Amen, if you're watching this, I don't like this tower. And I know it gives you some vision, but it's not even really, like, maybe build it here if you want vision into the base, but you're not even getting vision in the base with this tower. You're just getting the edge of the base. And sure, you can see the enemy move out, but they know you're here, so they're not going to move out right now. They're just going to build up their mass. Yeah, I think this tower, unless you're just trying to block relics with this, I don't think this tower is providing a ton of value. Maybe, if you build it closer or try to secure some resources, maybe the berries and wood up here, or no, they can't gather boar. Maybe the stone over here in the sacred site. I just feel like this tower is, that's 100 wood from your floated wood that you didn't really need. Again, I think you have too much wood. Too much wood and not enough food and gold at this stage in the game. Because you could get away with keeping up this pressure and aging up, because your opponent has fallen back into his base and isn't fighting you, and you're not going in. So just age up. That's what your opponent's doing. Okay, so he tries to burn the back, put on some pressure. It's forcing these units back, but they're not going to do anything because they're all melee units. Building a gate now, but as soon as he touches that, your knights are going to burn it? No, never mind. That's alright. You see the army, though. Can you attack the Vil? I hate this. Okay. There's that little bug where you can, like, attack through the wall. That's been in the game since day one. Okay, this tower I like a little bit more because you can actually kind of see the opponent's base with it. But again, I think this is an English impulse. Having a tower or two is not a bad thing, but you have way too much wood. Unless this was for a farm transition, which it isn't, because there's no farms here. You've annihilated a tree line. But for what? You're still sitting on a lot of wood. And this is like just a macro thing. Aman is really good at macro chat. I've seen him crush it, but I think he's thinking too much right here. I like this split better. Now you have food and gold. You could have done this earlier because you're still sitting on 800 wood that you don't need. And I've been railing on this for the most of the thing, but honestly, like, you could have so many archers with this too, because you have all that wood. Build another archery range and just pump out archers. Give them the attack upgrade. Now it's coming out, and we're at the 13-minute mark though, and I think when you're macroing up with wood and making as many archers as you are, get the upgrade. Get the arrow damage, because it will work wonders against not only the spears, but the Sipahi. Because if we look at the Sipahi's pierce defense, it's 2, right? The archer does 5, so you're doing 3 damage. You can add 25% on top of your damage with that upgrade, as he has now. If you get this earlier, Sipahi and spears, who have no arrow defense, are just going to get shredded by that 6 damage. So I think your arrow upgrade, I think arrow damage is key for France in this situation. Because you're trying to put pressure on. You're not just sitting outside their base, right? And he's gone castle before you, even though you have map control. So a couple things to be aware of. You haven't been fighting him very actively. And so if you're not fighting actively, macro toward castle, you know that this army isn't going to attack and kill you. Especially against Ottomans. Ottomans doesn't want to kill you with this army. This is a defensive army. I say that especially because of the spears. And again, you've got your enemy trapped. I like this. I think this is good. They've now got the MAA or MIA and another school. So their production is going to start getting scary because now you have a mangonel coming out. You know they're castle age, so immediately you should expect a mangonel out of Ottomans when this happens. That's one of the hardest parts about. So I get in this argument with one of our friends, Backpack, all the time, which is like, when do you get the Springald? Well, against Ottomans, I will accept Backpack's suggestion that you get a pre-Springald. Because you know this is coming. You know this is coming. I think you need more villagers on this age up. I think your age up is a little too slow, man. This is hurting. I think this is hurting you. I think you should have aged up earlier in the game, because now, now the raids are coming out with veteran Sipahi who are going to tear villagers apart. As soon as they use their fortitude ability, villagers are just going to get shredded. These knights should do a good job because they are now weak, but they're faster than your knights. So, I like the towers. These towers are nice because now you're defending your food, and you're keeping Ottomans from putting too much damage onto your villagers. I would say you had so much wood earlier. Build 2 towers, so that you can put all your villagers in them in the close. Because Sipahi, every Ottoman player is gonna have Sipahi in Castle Age and Feudal Age, without fail. There's gonna be a little control group of like 6 to 10 Sipahi raiding you. It's good play. It's smart play. Okay. Here comes that production. That's a good play. I do like this. I assume this is a transition into men-at-arms. That feels good to me because you are fighting spears, Sipahi, and expecting that mangonel. I think you need to get that Springald out, though, too. You have a lot of wood. Build your armor. Like, if you're aging up against Ottomans and they're already Castle Age, or you suspect they're going Castle Age, drop your Siege Workshop and build a Springald immediately. That's a habit I need to get into myself, because this mangonel is free. It's coming no matter what. There's nothing you can do about it except counter it. And frankly, yeah, we haven't really seen a whole lot of damage come in against Ottomans either. We got a lot of spears. We got Sipahi putting much more damage on against you than you have them. They actually closed the villager gap with some of these raids. I like the arrow emplacements on the tower, but again, I think you need 2 towers. If you have any more than 5 villagers on these food lines, you're just giving away, you're bleeding 2 extra villagers per because these guys are so fast. Good catch on the villagers coming to the thing, but look at this, how this is balanced out. You should have the advantage because you're France. Not enough men-at-arms yet. Crossbows, I just gotta say, you haven't seen armored units yet. I know you're trying to sort of pre-make the crossbows, but if you don't see men-at-arms out, what is the crossbow doing except being an overpriced archer? Archers coming in. This is good. Now you have archers on their spears. You've also hunted the villagers that were building that. That's 8 villagers down, so you've rebuilt that lead. This is good, but look at the ecode, though. So you've killed those villagers and gotten them off gold. That's great. But don't forget that these are free. Mangonels are coming in for free. Units are coming in for free, so they don't need to pay for gold units. But also, guess what? Your opponent's not making gold units. I guess there's some crossbows coming out, but you've primarily made archers and knights. You don't need to make gold units against this combo. You just need spears Sipahi, and I mean, he's making crossbows for your knights, but that's for free as well. So I think a little bit of this is going to be army comp. You need that Springald. That Springald should have been out a long time ago. Men-at-Arms probably over queued since you're only sitting on 3 barracks, but that's just macro stuff. Like, you can get better at that. Keep coming up on the back. I like that. Reduce the cost of your stables and your archery range units. Get more knights out. Let's take a look at the enemy comp, which, granted, you can't scout it because there's the walls, and I realize that. But you haven't fought any armored units yet. So, like, the crossbow transition was probably... Maybe that was a mistake. It's kind of looking to me like I'm giving you a hard time about crossbows that you accidentally, like, fat-fingered. So, sorry about that. Anyway, we're looking now at men-at-arms, archers. I like men-at-arms archers against this, but you've got double mangonel. That can one-shot chunks of your archers. And, yeah, you're against the Ottomans, so they haven't been training many units. They just go Imperial. Wait. Where did we get the gold for this? I didn't see him click up. I apologize. I thought he would have clicked up. I thought we would have seen the click up happen, but I missed it. Now we have a second TC out for Ottomans as well. He has lost villagers and has very correctly macroed into more vills on the back of this. What else can you do? Nice kill on those mangonels. I do like that. You lose a few too many knights, but now these archers are unstoppable. I like that. Focus down the crossbows. Your men-at-arms will be much more effective. Okay. I think this is one of those moments you need to decide between pushing and not. You have killed a bunch of the enemy's villagers. They've gone up into Imperial Age. And you saw their army, right? This is how much they have. I think you push. But now it's too late because the upgrades, well, he doesn't have a lot of gold. So I guess he's not going to get his upgrades. But he's going to get Imperial units. It says that he has the gold, but we know he doesn't, so... This army wins right now. I think your men-at-arms could have just pushed everything. And I like you catch his keep. You keep him off gold once again. This is good. You're killing a lot of vills. I don't think you realize how far ahead you are right now. Look at the vill count. Look at the army count. So, for all of you, this is one of those things about deciding when to attack. Your opponent has gone Imperial. He's switched to Great Bombards, but that's not out yet. You're still fighting mangonels, which you don't have a Springald for. And you've got foot units. This is not... You're not going to counter mangonels with this. Again, another win as well. So, and we see a mangonel come out before we see a Springald. You know they're making siege. Okay, then push. Follow it up. I mean, you don't have a ton of units. I get why you wouldn't push with this, but the earlier, I think a push would have been really deadly. Because now here, you do have him locked in, and I haven't forgotten this. Like, you've got him locked in. He doesn't have gold, which means he's sitting on veteran upgrades. He's in Imperial Age, but he's fighting like it's Castle Age. The only Imperial unit he has is the Great Bombard. Don't get me wrong, this is a really strong unit, but he has no front line for it. This is where I'm gonna say it really comes down to knowing when to push. We've got this Treb. And I think this is more. I say this because Aman plays a lot of England, plays a lot of Jushi. This is your England Jushi tendency. You've got men at arms and archers, which makes sense because you've been fighting spear crossbow. That's fine. But you're pushing with a trebuchet as France, and it's against an Ottoman faction that is in Imperial that you know is going to be getting free bombards now. Once again, moving out for gold. I see you read this and decide to tower it up. That's a good call. And so A-Man here is going to build up these towers. I know I've been talking to, like, I'm talking directly to A-Man. For what it's worth, if you guys want your reviews followed, win or loss, I'm happy to do both. I'm happy to review your games. I think it's an important facet of the game, and if you're too afraid to do it yourself, that's what I'm here for. I know how hard it is to watch your own reviews because you see all these mistakes, you know, that you make, and sometimes it's nice just to have someone else point it out for you. I can be the enemy if you need. So, like, go ahead, submit your games, tell me what games to review. I'm happy to record them and put them on my YouTube because I think us players down here at Plat, down here at Diamond, down here even lower if you would like, need some help, and I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I'm no expert. I'm no conch player. I'm not gonna charge you for it yet. Maybe if it gets really popular. Just submit your games. I'm happy to look at them because if you look at this match, I think A-Man won 10 minutes ago, but he didn't take it. And I think everyone could benefit from a good timing attack. Because look at this army now. This is a cheap army. It's the crossbows are getting made out of military school. Everything else is only food and wood. They don't care about the gold. They don't need the gold. And now it's late. Now this push is late, and you're throwing away some men-at-arms that I think would have added to your army. I like this. You're going to go after the bombards. You're going to go after the villagers. And look at this vill count. Amen, you're so far ahead. You take advantage of this. Look at your float. I know you want to hit Imperial. So macro towards Imperial. If you want to hit Imperial, why do you have all this wood? This is taking way longer to get to Imperial than it should. If your opponent is sitting up there and you're worried about getting there. You know he's off gold. You can catch up now. Just make sure you do it quickly. Drop a red palace on top of them. I know they could bombard it down, but you've also been doing a great job of killing their bombards. Like, don't get me wrong. You're playing a very good game of Age of Empires, but you have let your enemy build up an Ottoman mass. If you let Ottomans sit back, this is what they want. They want to sit there and they want to build stuff. You need to tell Ottomans that you're in charge. This is very much like this is a self-help analysis. You need to tell your opponent that you're in charge. Be assertive. But I kind of mean it. Like, look at him moving out with this mass. This is an Ottoman death ball building. He doesn't have upgrades. He's sitting on veteran units. You can hit him, right? Get your upgrades and win, or you can you could have attacked 15 minutes ago now. I have noticed that this is consistently a struggle for A-Man as a player. He is like look at this. He's in a good position. He's in a really good position. But look at that army count. It's balanced out, but he had double the opponent's numbers before this moment. So A-Man, and now with the villager count, you've got a fully saturated free unit core and extra speed from the blacksmith. Your opponent doesn't have upgrades. I would lose these kinds of games too from lack of pushing in. But this is one of those moments where even I'm learning myself here. Like, you're against Ottomans, if you kill their army, they're vulnerable. And like, not just like out and about, but in their base. And you don't want to leave them any time to do what they're doing right now. He's moving out onto gold now. This is looking hairy because he gets gold. Now, all of a sudden, he has Imperial upgrades. And you've only just hit Imperial, which means you're catching up. But you've been ahead for most of this game. So that's one of those things, is like really taking advantage of your lead. If you're ahead, stay ahead doesn't just mean like hang out and boom and gather all this. Because you have too much gold. You have too many of these resources. Get all your tech. You're sitting on this much gold in Imperial Age, and I see the text coming through. Get everything. You have 4,000 gold. You're not making a ton of... You're not making knights right now. You're making some. 5 knights out of 4,000 gold, though, is only 500 of that gold. Get your tech. Get your tech. Get that Imperial stuff. Because you, again, if you click on your opponent, you know they're just veteran. Definitely going to win this little skirmish, but he's going to get you off of resources, which is going to hurt your food income. I want to see more farms at this stage in the game. Yeah, we don't have enough farms. Okay, building farms up here with the food villagers, but you're getting pushed right here. I think you gotta wall off like your opponent has done, and look at all this nice space for farms in the back of the base. Just think like a China player. Think like a Jushi player. Your farms being out here when your opponent is pushing you is problematic. And you don't have your tech with all that gold. Don't get too frustrated with yourself. I mean, we all make these mistakes. Like, I'm not trying to be too hard on you. Just looking at this game, man, I'm just seeing a situation where you've got a lot of advantages. You could make bombards. You could make your French cannons with this. There's a lot of options you have with this. You don't have a university yet. But look at all the gold you have. This could be going... You already have royal bloodlines, but this could be going into... Why? Listen, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Why did you build the Royal Institute if you didn't get royal bloodlines? That's like the main reason to get this. And sure, you get other imperial texts, but like 35%. 35%! You're at 270 right now. And it looks like you're about to win another fight right here. This is your game. This is your game to lose. I'm just gonna be honest. This is your game to lose now. And even without some of the upgrades, like the upgrades you don't have, you need more. You need that food. This is unfortunate. This is really unfortunate. You've got a lot of wood. Just transition right back here. You've won this fight. This fight's over. Boom. Farm. 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 This is a lot of idle time. I do this. I do this all the time, and that's why I'm like, no, don't do it to yourself. You and I have that tendency. This is a mental error, right? This is what happens when we are playing a long game. I mean, I get it. You're 34 minutes into the game. You're exhausted at this point. But to be frank, I mean, like, not a whole lot has happened except for now Ottomans have gold and they have Imperial Sipahi. They got a little bit of gold, and do they have relics, or they just... No. Oh, man. Oh, man. I got some thoughts. I'm gonna play in the evenings more often too. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Anyway, we all make mistakes, and like I said, it's not. Don't be too hard on yourself. I'm sorry I'm being hard on you. I should stop apologizing. This is a training session. I started feeling bad. I'm like, oh no, but really, like, you have a lot of advantages. Aman has so many advantages here, chat. But the army's starting to dissipate because it's split up, and here's that Sipahi pressure. I abandon these farms or keep them or something. If you just farm back here, it's so much safer. Because he could, again, you've got Sipahi, elite Sipahi riding around. You have map control, sure. Drop a keep or something, please. You have the stone. You have arbaletier emplacements. Put a keep right here. Then you secure the gold, your farms. We have the boar coming out. That's good. There you go. Clean up the food a little bit. You have a lot of wood, man. You have a lot of wood. That's a whole farm eco. 4,000 wood. You have options, is what I'm trying to tell you, basically. If you're sitting on this much, but you can't make units, what can you do? That's something to think about. I can make siege with this. Okay, let me drop a siege workshop. And we finally have royal bloodlines coming in. I can hear Aman going, oh, when I say this, when I point this out. Oh. So we're looking at the game here. Gonna move out, gonna fight back. Big fight here, trying to keep his opponent off the gold, but now he's got Janissaries. And this army, there's not enough ranged units to fight Janissaries. Or, alternatively, there's only one bombard here, probably another coming out soon. But you have, like, a lot of gold control, so you know that not a ton of siege is gonna come out, right? And I know there's 1,000 things going on in your head at this stage in the game, but he's using this just to get his upgrades. His Janissaries are gonna get upgraded in, like, just a few moments here. Watch. Also, you've been ahead in gold for a long time, and you're still sitting on tier 1 blacksmith upgrades. You have your attack, which is great, but this army is going to blast through armor, and it's going to blast through archers because it's Sipahi, it's, Janissaries. So with your upgrades, this is a much stronger force against this. Janissaries, without fail, are going to have that armor piercing with the trench gun and the extra damage versus your cavalry. They literally do double damage to your knights. Because it's armor piercing damage too, so keep that in mind as you're fighting Janissaries. I like this, picking up reinforcements. Just, this didn't need to happen. This part of the game just did not need to occur. Because now your opponent's coming back. Your opponent is having the time of his life right now, because he just went, oh my god, I'm still alive. And I think, like, you could have pushed in. And now, it doesn't matter what the villager count is, because he's, like I said, he's got fully saturated military schools with the Istanbul Observatory. He doesn't have the gold to get his techs. So the only way he's really making units is these military schools. Look, he's not producing units. And he won't for some time. He's just using military schools to keep his numbers up. Look at his villager count. Look at his resource count. I see that your gold coming through. You're finally getting those blacksmith techs. Finally getting some of those other techs. And this is good. I like the 311, maybe 322 here for the wood and the gold. And there's a lot more gold left, and you have nobody gathering gold now, because you did have a lot of gold, but I think 82, I think you could have more villagers at this point too. You could stream in, because your opponent can't out-eco you at this point. You've had them locked into their base. I mean, I cannot deny that your map control has been very good. You've kept this guy locked in. But I think you've also... He's still on veteran Janissaries. These are still just, these aren't elite Janissaries. But you've let your opponent get that gold by delaying, and now the Knights are coming out. Oh, elite Knights, not elite Janissaries. Curious. I would have gone into elite Janissaries because he has, what, 35 Janissaries now. And he's just been slow. This is slow. He's been slowly building this number. We're at the 40-minute point when this army is moving out. He's got the elite Knights now because he's been gathering gold. And frankly, Royal Bloodline, he has no upgrades. Royal Bloodlines is late. Things are late, and there's a lot of ways you could have won this game a lot earlier. And honestly, I would have liked to see your whole mass push over here, because you know they're coming for you. You've just been dancing around with your Knights. It's kind of exposed. It looks like you could probably take out the Bombards right now. But he's coming into your base now, and he's going to start going after your production. And call me crazy, yeah, there's not a ton of other production out. And you've got a lot of resources that you could be spending on archers, on horsemen. France can go into a very strong late game horseman comp, or, spears would even be nice here. You've got trash. You can afford trash. And trash plays well against Ottomans. Honestly, even, I would go after the Janissaries first, because these Bombards can't shoot you at this range. Kill the Janissaries so your Knights can kill the rest. Because the Janissaries are the things killing your Knights. The Bombards aren't killing your Knights, they're killing your archers. And now, it's GG. Man, okay, so my biggest notes are really, you've got to know when you're ahead. Make sure, if you've got your opponent locked into their base, go Castle Age. Get the push in. Can we look at stats from that game? I think we can look at stats from that game. Let's go find Aman really quick. Just the end of this video, since we're doing a review of the game. Oh man, I wanted you to win that game so badly, Aman. Like really, like there were a lot of moments because your eco was so much better. And look at your unit kills. I mean, like, I can see your frustration with the game. I know the frustration with Ottomans. It's hard to fight Ottomans as France. These numbers do not represent the way you played the game. I mean, like, your eco was great. Like I said, your macro is always really good. So use it. You need to execute, right? Because, I mean, we look at the timeline too. Villager count, military count. You didn't push here, or you know, right after you defeated their army and only took a few losses. You could have pushed here when they went Castle Age. There were a couple of moments I really felt like your army could have won this game. If you were at 63 units and your opponent had 10. Obviously, there's a lot of scouting involved. There's high-level play of awareness and things like that, and that's difficult. I do not trouble you that, but this is when you have to have that killer instinct. RTS, I think, always has a moment where you have to have the killer instinct, and I probably have too much of one. I go, let's go, let's kill him. And Aman very much is a, let's wait, let's build up our mass. Well, if we wait too long, this happens. I think you had too much on wood here too. Let's look at wood count. What's this wood for? Why are you gathering it if you're not going to use it? This too. Think about floating. We floated a lot of stone as well, it looks like. But I was thinking about the gold. Use it. Use it, use it, use it. Look how much it barely drops with Imperial Age here. It's 1,200. That's really not that much when you have 6,000, 5,000. Use it. Please use your gold. I think my biggest notes, A-Man, whenever I do see your games, and this is the last point. Whenever I see A-Man's games, my biggest points are there's a lot of floating resources. The macro is always tight. The macro is good. You have to use it. You gotta use it. Make sure your food is up. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Use it. Use it. And that's my main. Those are my main notes. Your opponent won and survived that because he was patient. And he realized he could have died, but you gave him time. I think he knew he could have died. He was building as if he was on death's door. And that's when you attack. So that's a big note. A lot of floating resources and knowing when to kill your opponent. Honestly, I think one of the biggest issues is to say that if you have all those floating resources, you might know that you're ahead, right? Use those floating resources and find the advantage. Build your siege. I think if you had had siege, you would have crushed him because he only had 1-2 bombards. You didn't need like a ton of springalds for the bombards or anything like that. Mangonels, they can maybe one-shot your mangonels, but a couple, like 3 mangonels will one-shot that Janissary mass. Things like that. Anyway, great game, A-Man. That was a very fun game to watch. I was very engaged. There was that lull in the middle, and that lull in the middle hurt you quite badly, I would say. Quite badly. All right, all. Thanks for being here. I think if you want more reviews done, if you want me to tear you apart, submit your videos or let me know where your videos are, who you played against, etc., and I would love to check out your games. So anybody who's interested in replay reviews, I'm here. I'm going to try my darndest to help you out with what little knowledge I have and what knowledge I can share. Yeah, I'm here for you. So anyway, we will catch A-Man later and probably play some team games right now. More team games on the way for those of you interested in that, and I will catch you later.